I need to prove it to everybody that I got what it takes.
Like that 50 Cent thing, get rich or die trying.
I think we could have this conversation in 200 years.
That was my only way.
It's terrible.
It was a catch-22. I was stuck.
It just like kept me awake. I was like stressed.
Outside of Dogecoin.
Doge.
With Dogecoin. The Dogecoin thing.
Dude, when I came here to the States, my parents didn't know English. And like they would try to like talk to people or just get me in school.
Yeah.
And I remember how much like they were bullied and they were like there was so much discrimination against them.
Yeah.
People just made fun of them and
Yeah.
like they didn't care. They're like, oh, stupid immigrants. Like they're
Right.
and like my parents were frustrated. So like I understand how that felt.
Right. It's super frustrating because it's like in my mind, I'm like, I like as a kid, right? Just seeing your parents struggling.
Yes.
You're like, I don't want this for me.
Dude, it got to the point for me where I realized that when my parents spoke, that people would mistreat them.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I remember I'd be like, okay, let me explain. And I would have to negotiate and talk and have these adult conversations for my parents because I didn't want them to go through that. So as a kid, I was always more mature and like way beyond my years around my peer group because I was dealing with problems my adult parents were.
You don't want them to get taken advantage of.
Right. And so the things that my kid friends were worried about were completely different than I'm sure the things we were worrying about, which were things kids shouldn't have to worry about, but we did.
It's so funny. My
probably
dream.
holding all that in your brain every day at school, and
it's
like,
you think about it and it bothers you just as much as it bothers them.
Right.
My dream as a kid was like my life is in front of me, right? My dream as a kid was go through school, get the highest possible grades, right? Like graduate with flying colors, right? Jump into corporate America and kill it. Like be a CEO of some company one day. Like just work my way up that ladder, and all that was shattered when you realize you can't do it.
Like you literally cannot. You don't have the opportunity to.
Yeah. Getting a job is just one part of my situation, man. I couldn't go to college. I couldn't graduate.
Wow.
Like I could go take classes, but no college is allowed to give me a diploma because I'm
it's
social.
just
You know what I mean? And the thing is, I tried to go to three or four different colleges, and I could go through community college and take classes and pay for those and it's whatever, but I was not allowed to get a diploma or a certification that I completed that.
So is part of your attraction to Doge and crypto the fact that it's kind of outside of the kind of governmental system?
No. It was literally a means to make money.
Moonshot.
Okay.
A moonshot. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, I'm like hurled in a position where it's like this is my one shot.
Okay.
Like I can't go through corporate America. I can't climb up the ladder. The American dream doesn't exist for me. I can't go to college. I can't do any like how am I going to be successful in life? And when I discovered Robinhood and investing, I'm like maybe this is it. Right. Yeah. And I don't know how to actually do it. I'm just throwing shit against the wall. Yeah. I'm buying Facebook. I'm buying Tesla. I'm buying this. I'm like, hopefully something works. Right. And when Dogecoin took the fuck off, I was like, this is it. Like, it's this precious like gem that I'm like, I can't shatter this. I can't like mess up. I can't sell. And then something happens. And you know what I mean? Like it was just like people don't understand. Like it meant more for me than anybody else to have that opportunity with Dogecoin. Yeah, with Dogecoin. Like having done what I did with the crossing over $1 million and stuff, to me is non-existent in life outside of crypto, outside of Dogecoin. That was my only way. And so it was like, I can't.
Passionate about it. This is awesome.
And even that though, you weren't able to escape and sell, even if you wanted to.
Right.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that would have a tax burden on your mom.
Right. I would literally, my mom would have had to pay 65% on taxes. She doesn't have. So it's like, it was a catch-22. I was stuck.
One of the early bull cases for just crypto in general and Ethereum was the remittance. I don't know if you ever looked at the number, but there's almost trillions of dollars that are like moved outside of different countries back home. Yeah. And there's this company called Western Union that just fees. Like the whole company's built on this terrible fee system, and crypto is such a promising alternative.
Right. I mean, crypto is like the Uber to taxis for Western Union.
People don't even know though that your citizenship status doesn't even allow you to travel outside the state.
I can't leave the country.
Out of the state or country?
The country.
Out of the country.
Here's the crazy part. Pretty soon I won't be able to fly anywhere.
Because of the real ID.
Because of the real ID. Yeah. That's going to come out here in a year.
What? So the real ID is this little gold star that gets put on your driver's license that allows you to or that is required when you travel. And if you don't have that, once our licenses expire, it's the surveillance. Yeah, but that's true. No. So if you don't have this little gold star on your ID, you can't.
I can't fly domestically. I can't go from here to LA. I can't go from here to visit my mom in Maryland.
Right.
I have to drive everywhere.
Yep, because it's not a valid means of ID.
Like it's like my world is like closing in, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
Thanks for sharing that stuff because I wanted to just guess that. It seemed like you're living this more lavish lifestyle, being
It's so crazy how much people
there's
don't.
a lot of limitations to what your life is.
There's
still
a lot of limitations,
and how much people don't see all of it. Yeah. And when they see you get like something like a Tesla, it's like, oh, this greedy guy. It's like you have no idea.
Bro, you guys don't know I drove a bucket for 10 years. Like,
yeah.
Like why were you guys there for 10 years and watched me drive a car with no AC and everything blown out? Like, well, my fucking side mirror was hanging down. Like, I drove that for 10 years.
Wow.
I finally got a Tesla last year. First car I've ever had that's new. That was the first. Yeah, every car I've ever had before was like.
And you just bought your mom a Tesla.
And I just bought my mom a Tesla.
Yeah.
Last week.
And
that's
you bought
really
your
cool.
Parents a house and you guys have really probably lived up.
That
to
is
their
so funny because the first things you and I really did when we got money was take care of our parents.
Right.
But
that is the first thing I did. I paid off bought my parents a house, paid it off, and then I got them a Model Y.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I feel like a good son, and I feel like I took care of you guys.
Well, because they put a lot on the line to get you here.
Yes,
and then you
exactly.
I
would not be
here.
I mean,
Built something.
Think about this. The least that we can do is show them that there were fruits to their labor.
That it was worth
that it was all worth it. You know what I mean? Like, imagine being thrust into the land of opportunity, even though for me it's not everything, but it's still better than Brazil or any other country. Like, being put in that position, right? Your parents did everything in their power to get you here, right?
Yeah,
like just making ends meet, like just living minimum wage life, and I become nothing. And I don't accomplish anything, and I don't help them in any way, and I land in jail or end up a drug addict, or like that would suck.
Yeah.
Or homeless or something.
There's a lot of pressure on, I think, immigrant kids to not just listen to their parents, which usually tell them to go down the safe path,
right?
But also just to like excel and make them happy.
Not only that, but like nobody in my family has been successful.
Right.
Nobody. Like not my aunt, not my uncles, not my cousins. Like nobody. Everybody's just living this like.
And your dad he's in Brazil.
Mediocre life. Yeah.
So you grew up with just your mom?
No. He moved back to Brazil when I was like 22. So it's been about 12, 13 years.
Got it.
But that's the thing. He can't come back. I can't leave.
Right.
So I haven't seen my dad in over 10 years.
No, that's insane.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez. How do you deal with it now? Like, what's your next goal? Because I know you've talked to like attorneys and you've tried to.
No, the funny thing is my dad found out about the Dogecoin thing through his cousin in Brazil that saw it in a Brazilian paper.
What?
Really? He's like, is this you?
He took a picture of the newspaper in Brazil.
Like, is this you?
He sent it to me. He thought it was a joke. He thought it was some like Photoshop.
Like, this guy looks kind of like you, and you're like, yeah, he does.
No, but that was like, is this you or is this a joke? And I was like, no, that's me. I was like, that happened. He's like, that's crazy. In Brazil, you're way richer.
What was his?
Because in Brazil, it's 5x the money, right?
Yeah, so what was his reaction? Was he like, could you send me some money or?
He was super proud of me. It wasn't, can you send me some money? He was super proud of me. It was almost like, it's weird. It's almost closure for me, at least.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was like, because we had a lot of like riffs and stuff over the years, just for him going to Brazil and like knowing the situation, knowing we can't see each other and still making that decision, right?
Yeah.
And so it was almost like, as a kid growing up, and I don't know if it's like that with you guys, but like with me, it was like, your dad's like your hero and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like you grow up and you're like, want to make my dad proud and stuff, and like let's work together. Let's like build a company together. Let's like do something together, right? And I feel like with him leaving, it was like that's gone. Like there's nothing we can do with that. Like we can't work hard and build something awesome together, right? Like or be teammates and stuff. And so it's like the fact that I was able to do it without him was like really a proud moment for me because it was like I was still able to do it like I have what it takes, Dad. You know what I mean? Like with or without you here.
Yeah, but it's crazy because even though like we both come from a similar background being like immigrants, I think I had a significant advantage over you because I had my dad and my mom here. And I feel like being raised with one parent is like significantly hard.
It is. It's super
and like
hard.
the impact that it has on your mental health and everything and the choices you make later in life is, I think, advantageous to have both parents.
I completely agree.
Even though I was in a crappy situation as well, I was very fortunate.
Right. I mean, it's support from both parents that you're getting, right, all the time. So like with me, it was like my mom struggling all the time, right? And like me not having the means and to make her life better. Right? Like I couldn't go to college, I couldn't get a job. What the fuck am I gonna do to get her in the better position and us in a better position as a family, right? So like when I moved to LA, I'm dead alone. Like I'm by myself. Like I have nowhere to go. Like I'm sleeping on couches. I'm sleeping on friends' couches for years, like until I figure it out. And I don't have any guidance, anything. It's like it's either make or break it. Like there have been so many times in LA that I would just cry, like to sleep because like I just want to go home. I just want to go back. But
so I had this my parents, I lived mostly with my mom. My dad was in the picture, but just on visited once in a while. She was a school teacher, only made whatever, like $60,000 a year or something, but it was a good life. We lived in a safe place and I got a lot of opportunities. And when I got out of high school, I went only for a couple of years of college and then started this startup, and it made a decent amount of money. Came out here and got investment. And she came, and then this is right when she got brain cancer. So she's passed away now. Oh. But it was like to see, like she came out here and then for her to see that I actually had built a company that somebody else wanted to invest in, was like one of the last vibes that she got from me before she passed away.
That's amazing.
And it was like, it felt like closure. But the other thing is, I never thought about this till now, but that was also right about the time when I did start taking much bigger risks with like crypto, with startups, with like this whole idea I have of just like swing for the fences with my life happened because she was just 1 year away from retirement.
Yeah.
And I was like, you spent your whole life giving to the school district. You were supposed to retire and you died a year before collecting all of that. It made me feel like, don't play it safe, now I'm definitely coming on the other end of that where I wish I would have been much safer about it. But yeah, that dynamic between us and our parents and wanting to live up to their expectations.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Wow. It's like that 50 Cent thing, get rich or die trying.
Right.
That's sort of what life is.
That's really what it was like. And I don't know. I'm thankful everything happened the way it did. Like I was able to still come out on top somehow with all this, you know what I mean? And now it's just like, how do I keep going? How do I like make this generational wealth, right? And not just like for me as a one. That was a big thing too, and I don't know if you remember this, but it was like, yes, if I cash out right now, I'll have all this money, but I don't have the knowledge or the skills to like make sure this is safe somehow. Right. You know what I mean? Like without blowing it all or losing it all or making a bad investment.
It is a skill to keep it.
Right.
It's one thing to make it, but it's another thing to keep it.
For sure. And
have you done a video like that? Like if you're already a millionaire, how to keep it?
No, I haven't, but I feel like the title would have to be something a little bit more
attainable
for the average person. If you're a millionaire, watch this. 3 people click on it.
And you just get pro in there. And he's like, thanks, man, I needed this. And it's like 1 view.
Actually, you know what's crazy about OpenAI? You can use it to do therapy. Like you can talk to it and just be like, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Like, help me. And I've had Corey, my girlfriend, actually talk about stuff. And she's like, yeah, it's really been helpful. And have you tried that?
No, I've actually never tried ChatGPT.
No, you can have incredible social bonds with it. Like you can have all sorts of different people. Like you can have an expert of Elon Musk and Einstein and say, here's my problem. And like they'll all give you advice. Even you can even ask collectively.
What's the prompt like? Like what do you have to enter to trigger that?
Well, one of the best prompts that you can ask is for it to ask you questions. Be like, I have this problem. Ask me 25 questions about it so you can help me get through it. And it will be like, oh, like what's your age and what's your thing and like how do you feel about it?
Once it gets to know you, it kind of caters.
Yeah, and once you've typed in all of that, but there's also actual characters. Like you can actually go to like character AI or something and sign up and actually pull Socrates into your life, and it'll be amazing. Socrates' mentality, but it will be everything from the 2021 data set. So it'll be incredible. Like, yeah.
So like everything on the internet ever about that person.
Yes.
Yeah. But the point is therapy is good. Like I kind of went off track there. But
yeah. No, I went to
the point is
therapy. I feel like everybody needs therapy. It got me through a lot actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped me understand a lot. Like, my relationship with my mom, with my dad, like, why I put so much pressure on myself. Like it's so weird. It's almost this like I need to prove something. Like I had this like I need to prove it to everybody that I got what it takes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I won't stop until I get there.
Do you ever have anxiety when you wake up still?
Or it's all gone?
Now, that anxiety that I got with like really bad bosses and stuff, it's very rare that I have that now. Like it'll randomly happen, but it'll be mostly like maybe I'll do a crazy trade or something. You know what I mean? And I'll wake up like, oh, did it go up? Did it go down? You know what I mean? But it's like very passing. It's nothing like it was before. Like I used to have like heart palpitations because like I thought I was gonna get fired. I didn't have a job.
To a dream I had a dream. So for just like a year or two, I worked at a restaurant as a server, and like I was so scared I'd like mess up food and stuff. This was a long time ago, but I had a dream 2 nights ago, and I was like, the hell? Like I was so scared. I was like, thank God I don't work at that restaurant anymore.
The crazy thing is this: I feel like everybody should have that mentality that you can always get a job somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like never stick around when you're getting abused at work or mentally abused at work or verbally or whatever. Yeah. Like as soon as you feel disrespected at work, leave. Yeah. And that needs to be taught because as a kid or as growing up, you don't have the concept of this is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. I need to leave now. It's more like I'll put up with it. I'll deal with it. It's just how people are. Like you just have this the same thing with relationships. You used to put up with so much shit when you were 19 with a girlfriend of yours or a boyfriend or whatever that like at this age, at 30, you're like, red flags. You know what I mean? Like this isn't going past the 4th date. You know what I mean?
I think so much of that has to do with circumstance. Like if you're in a position and you have resources to just say no and quit, you can.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people are so sucked into it.
It needs to be taught. Like for example,
it's so crazy you bring this up because last night I had a friend come over, a girlfriend of ours, and she just got over like a 5-year relationship, and she told us in what situation she was in, and circumstantially she just can't leave, and it's like this puzzle, and it just like kept me awake. I was like stressed.
Oh, you wanted to solve the puzzle?
Yes.
And be like,
I was like, there's when you tell the guy there is a solution here, and I'm not finding it, but there is something here where like we have to get you out so that you're not in a position to be disrespected.
More than likely, her partner is a sociopath. That what ends up happening is they engineer relationships to become that way.
Yes, that's
true. So like they end up slowly but surely creeping in to the point where they control everything about your life. So where like you can't leave and have a means somewhere else, make money doing something somewhere else, or you don't have the experience because you've been kind of with them the whole time. So you become so dependent on them. That's what they do. Like they manipulate you.
That's one of the reasons why like every person I've ever dated, I'm like, please like always have a job, like always contribute, always be independent, and don't rely. Even though I'll always help. Right. I think naturally things fall into place that way, even if that wasn't the original intention.
Right.
It just kind of falls in, and there's a power dynamic imbalance.
Right. And unless you're both broke.
Sure, unless you're both broke.
Evenly broke,
Right. Or both wealthy, right? But in this case, she was having a hard time, and we're trying to figure it out.
Every single one of us has the responsibility to make sure we're able to take care of ourselves.
This is true.
Especially after the age of 18. You know what I mean? Like, here's another thing, too.
Like in the airplane, they're like, put it on you before your kids. Like, take care of yourself.
I'm just saying, like that has to be taught. So, like, I was going to say this. When I have kids, I'm going to teach them, hey, if you're at a work environment and you feel taken advantage of or you feel like you're being disrespected, leave. I will take care of you until you find another job. You know what I mean? Like make them feel secure and safe to where they never find themselves in uncomfortable positions or situations with people in a power dynamic where it's like they feel like they can't go anywhere, leave, do anything, be themselves because they have no future on their own.
So I'm guessing, are you a universal basic income fan? Like, because that's kind of the thinking. Like, you
want to know something funny?
Give everybody some money so they don't.
You want to know something funny? There's been a study done. I forget what country it was in. It was done in a country where they did exactly that. Every single person got $1,000 a month, which covered their rent and food. That was it, right? Nobody was homeless. Not a single person was homeless. And that country, they did it for like a few years or something. That country ended up being better off than countries that didn't do that, right?
Like Norway or something.
Because it could have been Norway. Right?
Because essentially it comes down to meeting human needs and basic necessities, right? So if you don't have to worry about...
less people could engineer that moment where like, oh, you need me to survive.
Dylan, do you think that's where we're going with AI? Like at some point people will be replaced and automated that will have to provide for people?
Well, I see a future like beyond money, actually. I think that we're not going to have anything like the US dollar, but it's so far down the road and how we get there is just completely
whenever I hear you talking about this stuff, I'm like, man, it's not in my lifetime.
No, it will be.
No, I feel like the dollar. No, we're talking about the U.S. dollar. I feel like in 20 years, the U.S. dollar is going to be like
I don't know.
irrelevant.
I just think it'll just get so lopsided, and everything will just people will just feel so squeezed and taxed and broken, and it'll just be everyone will have to like take money from the rich, and everyone will hate that too. And
no, you know what?
something funny.
You know what's something funny? The way crypto's moving and the way money is being made and millionaires are getting created. I feel like in the next 10 to 20 years, there's gonna be way more millionaires than there are today, and billions of dollars are gonna be like trillions of dollars, right? Like Elon actually said this in an interview he recently did. He was like, very soon from now, $42 billion, what he spent on Twitter, $42 billion isn't going to be that much money.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. Everyone's just going to get richer.
Right.
Like, especially if you get into crypto now, I feel.
Yeah.
That makes me worried in a world with finite resources, though, and finite real estate, finite land. And before you know it, it gets concentrated into the hands of the few. And then if you increase those people's longevity and lifespans, what happens then when a trillionaire could live to 1,000 years?
You want to know
what 2030 is what Ray Kurzweil says for immortality.
Like what happens when 1,000-year-olds become trillionaires and they own everything?
Can I?
Then you agree with me? The system is going to break.
It's going to break.
It's
already broken.
Can I ask you guys a question?
What?
Do you feel like in our lifetime we'll be able to harness consciousness and put it in a different body?
I don't think within our lifetime. I wish. Like, what do you call it? Black Mirror, that episode where it's like they can upload their consciousness and they can pretty much like break it down into.
I'm glad you asked that question.
I have a take on that. I think you're wrong. I think it will be in our lifetime, but I want to hear your take, and I'll tell you my take.
So I'm a big proponent of building artificial intelligence that doesn't have a world model, no self-understanding of them in the real world, but I think someone will. And yes, I definitely think it will.
Could you explain that again?
So if you learn about something, it can be like a autonomous robot, like a zombie. It doesn't have to actually feel itself in the world that it's thinking about. But if it does, I think it becomes conscious.
Right.
I think that robots and drones and cell phones could easily be programmed either way. And I think that when they do, it could be like terrible to live in a cell phone, or it might not be, but we have to think about the consciousness of our cell phone all day long and feel guilty about turning it off.
But what do you think about uploading your consciousness and digitizing it and living forever? Because I'm assuming that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Is that what you meant? You meant like booting up a program?
No, uploading yourself to the cloud.
I mean like taking Andre and everything that makes Andre.
No, you're going to, because think about, say it's multiplied 1 million times on 1 million servers and they're all Andrei Jikh. If even 1% of them is living in pure horror for infinity, are you okay with the other 99?
Are we talking about the same Black Mirror episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Which one are you talking about?
San Junipero?
No, not that one. It's the White Christmas.
Oh, I think I remember.
It's the one where the girl makes a copy of herself, and it becomes into this little robot that makes her coffee in the morning how she likes it, and her toast how she likes it.
I
don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But okay, here's my take on it. I feel like with AI, with the way it's going, with the way technology is going, I feel like in the future, in our lifetime, it won't be my consciousness in my body. It'll be a copy of me.
Yeah.
So literally AI will be able to literally take everything that I've ever done in my life. I could sit down and have seminars and conversations and all types of shit, right? And just literally take every single detail of my life, right? AI. And know what my next step would be. So like if I go to McDonald's, they'll know what I would pick. If I go to Taco Bell, they would know my choices, right? So to the point where like they're me. It's like a clone. It's like a digital clone of yourself. So I feel like they'll be able to take, with AI, a digital clone of what makes me based on everything I've ever done, ever, on the internet, everywhere, and just take that, a copy of it, and put it in a robot or a skin or another organic material human body. Sure. I don't know, but I feel like that's possible. Like I would die eventually, but me,
that seems like so far away.
Well,
it would be a copy of me.
Yeah, I feel like that's so far away.
Actually, that is pretty far. It's interesting. Like depending on what you're talking about, that is really far away. I think too, because but also it's definitely down the road somewhere going to happen.
Right.
So it just depends.
Yeah.
Because you're the weights and biases of the way your neural network's set up. But it's 3-dimensional, and we don't have a great clone of that. But I have seen Petri dish brains that are computing. There's a rat brain right now that sits in a Petri dish, and it can play the video game Doom. And they just have to scale that up. But there isn't a way to make it.
Is it any good
a
at
clone of you? It's terrible. But it can like mostly avoid walls.
Yeah, it's like, where's the cheese, bro? This game sucks.
But it's like a mouse brain. But we do have some substrate that can compute now that's 3-dimensional like us. But how you would actually clone exactly what's in Andrei without killing him and ruining it is pretty far away, actually. But it is possible.
Here's the thing. We've already managed to clone organic matter, right? So bodies and stuff, right? Like with the sheep and stuff, right? Like,
but they're independent. Their consciousness are not
No, I get that.
Predicting you would be easy.
But that's what I'm saying. If there's a way to make a clone of me using my DNA or whatever in some way, right? Like a younger version of me in some way, and then take a digital replica AI copy of me and pairing the two.
Yeah,
I feel like it's possible.
It's a crazy world, yeah.
Isn't that?
As I'm pretty sure we'll be. I think we could have this conversation in 200 years. No, I do. I think that
like all three of us.
I think all three of us will live to 200 years. I think that's in
you
the.
really
in the
think
book.
so?
No, because here's the thing. It's not just. That's one way to talk about living for a long time, right?
Or
but also medically, like there's gonna be some type of medical breakthrough that allows us to slow down our
right.
That's probably a lot of. I think 2030. I think we're 7 to 10 years away
Dylan,
from.
Can you explain
not aging anymore? Like we'll just level off.
Can you explain singularity? Like what is that exactly?
Yeah, well, there people use it in different terms, but
right?
For the
because I have a definition and understanding of it that might be different.
Yeah, I mean, most people would say it in terms of artificial intelligence is that when you have something that's ASI, artificial super intelligent,
it's self-aware.
It doesn't need to be self-aware, but it needs to be so powerful and encompassing that we've lost all decisions on where the future's going.
Got it.
And it can take over, but it probably would be self-aware.
Okay, so my understanding of it is that a singularity is a moment in time where like something like a ChatGPT analytical whatever model can essentially unlock all the secrets of the universe. And so within like one computation, it's like, oh, here's all the structures of this proteins, which it did last year.
Oh, thank you.
Which it did last year. It mapped out all the proteins. It's insane.
Wait, so what happened with the proteins?
AlphaFold is DeepMind is part of a division inside of Google. They have been solving the problem of how do you actually predict exactly the shape of a protein so you know how it's going to bounce around inside of a cell and fit into all those little lock mechanisms.
Is normally impossible to like really analyze.
Totally.
It takes like years and so much money to...
And you have to use X-ray crystallography and all these tools that are so slow.
Yeah, and it's impossible to predict the actual like physical, I guess, look of this protein. So, but now we know every one of them that we know exists. And like it wasn't ChatGPT, but it was
called AlphaFold. But
AlphaFold just unlocked all of it instantly. And it was like, here's all of it.
And ChatGPT can pass the bar exam, it can pass the medical exam.
But the practical application of that is that we will have cures to diseases we don't have cures for yet. And so what I'm saying is, to me, like the singularity is the moment where this computer spits out all the secrets of physics and biology and all this stuff. It's like, here's how to live forever. Here's how to upload our brains. Here's how to do this. And now it's like, we have all of this stuff.
I feel like that, like, is quantum computing a thing yet?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Is it already available?
Yeah, 64 qubits is IBM's best machine.
So taking AI, combining.
So it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work practically yet, but it's close.
Yeah, but I feel like in the next 5-10 years.
Well, because they're exponentially up. At 120, actually, if it got double the speed it is now, it would probably start solving big prime number solutions.
At what point does it break Bitcoin's SHA-256?
Oh, yeah. SHA-256 is, I mean, it's toast soon. I don't know.
You think so?
It looks
but don't you think Bitcoin would fork off?
You know, it's funny. I just programmed it. I did a little program with, what's it called? Q Sharp, which is their quantum programming language. And it seemed like, I think it's coming soon. I mean, these things work.
Well, do you think Bitcoin would just fork off?
I even wonder if it's already been. Like,
explain that. Explain that.
If there might be a quantum computer in a server in China or something that actually has this, and they're just not. Because if they do solve it, there's only 7 research teams. If one of them solves it, they're going right to the governments. I don't know.
So from my understanding, I guess a proton, right? Or a
proton?
What is it?
Well,
an atom?
Quantum computing is just taking the characteristics of the quantum world. But an atom,
it can basically be in two places all at once.
Thinking
and
about
teleport.
an electron is a good example that it can, they're called spin, but it's multiple states. Instead of 1 and 0, you have all the options in between. And it allows you to, they say a good metaphor is like solving a maze by trying everything at the same time.
Fuck.
Yeah, and right now they can only do, like you said, 64 electrons.
I think 64 qubits, quantum bits. So you can only process that. I don't exactly know how that translates, but that's not enough to solve big things, but it's kind of getting there.
But once we do have like a practical, usable application of it, then every algorithm and like defense mechanism or
it does some things really well.
It'll crack everything, like Bitcoin's security system, every crypto.
Bitcoin will be toast. But also that at the same time.
So what happens when that
happens? Then all the cryptos that exist today that are breakable, which is all of them, they will fork off into a different proof of work or proof of stake model or proof of time, proof of whatever it is.
There is some quantum encryption theoretically going on too. So it would need to translate off regular.
Do you think it would lose all its value or no?
Well, initially, it would. It would dip to like 0. People would be terrified, and then it would be so volatile.
But at the same time, when that crack came out, we would also just pop into everyone's like Wells Fargo accounts and steal all their stuff too. So it's like the whole thing is going to break.
But the first people that would get a hold of it would be presumably the government, and I don't think they would go and do that, but they would have the power to.
Right. So they could just go on my ledger.
Everything.
Well, your ledger might be. Yeah, well, once you connect it to the internet, they might. I'm just saying, your ledger might be.
What if it's offline?
Yeah, it's true. Offline might still be safe, but your encryption online.
It doesn't matter because.
No, sorry. So what am I thinking? That would make no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
They just go right to the ledger and they would just take it. Yeah, of course.
Basically, what would have to happen is those cryptos like Bitcoin would just be like right now it's proof of work, mining, right? It would be something else.
Because your money is technically on the blockchain.
Like proof of your fingerprint, or like proof of something else.
Right. That's scary.
Yeah, but it's going to happen probably within our lifetime.
I mean, then you're going to want some real estate. That's what Andrei said. Like his real estate.
But too bad it's going to be concentrated in the hands of those trillionaires that are going to live to 1,000 years. You know, the pharmaceutical CEOs, things like that.
Houses, land, property. Those things are going to be scarce very soon. Well, at least in like places, like desired places.
Well, it's been real, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate
that was fun.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a blast. Yeah.
I feel like that was 2 episodes.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, that was.
That's what I felt like.
If you're still watching this, if you know anyone interesting and you're in Vegas, like recommend someone, and I'd love to talk to them and bring them in the sauna to sweat with us.
Yeah, and on the YouTube channel, if you go to the About page, you can see we have our email there. So
and you can find Pro.
Yeah.
And his YouTube channel.
Yeah. The Dogecoin Millionaire YouTube channel. Find me on Twitter, ProTheDoge, ProTheDoge, and on Instagram, ProTheDoge.
Nice. Thank you guys for watching.
Dogecoin Millionaire in the house. Thanks, man.
Let's hope I get back to 1 million soon.
Bye.